Hey everyone, it's Polly, the host of the Dream Printing podcast. Today I have Katie. She is the CEO of Grace-Filled Ministries and the creator of the Grace-Filled Postpartum Journal. This thing is beautiful. She is a print school student and created this stunning, also very simple product for women in their postpartum journey. It's so beautiful and easy to use to help folks in that newborn fog and just through that special time of postpartum. So I'm excited to get her kind of story and how she created it, why she was inspired to make this book. And she joined print school. So she is officially a print school alumni. And so this is one of my print school alumni stories that I cannot wait to share with you. But if you're interested in printing your own paper product, like one of these back here, these are a lot of my print school students' items. If you're interested in creating a luxury paper product that makes impact and you want to get your idea out of your head and into your hands, I would love to invite you to a free workshop after you watch this interview. The link is HoracioPrinting.com/workshop. You can check it out there. I have the link below this as well. And without further ado, let's bring Katie onto the show. Welcome. I'm so excited. I have the one and only Katie. She is the creator of the Grace-Filled Postpartum. This is a beautiful journal, and I can't wait to walk through it and go through the story of how God kind of put this on your heart and how it came to life. And I'm just so excited to hang out. Let's have you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about Katie. Where are you from? Where are you at in your life? Tell us how many kids you have. Just give us a little bit about Katie.
So my name is Katie Lakvold. I am the founder of Grace-Filled Ministries. I am a wife and a mother of 4. My oldest is 10. I have a 7.5-year-old and then 5.5-year-old twins. So,
Wow.
Yes. I'm originally from Arizona, and a lot of my family's back there. I have siblings kind of scattered throughout the U.S., but now we're calling South Carolina home, and just busyness of life, but a different busy than those early years. So I don't know. It's just been great.
So I love the name Grace-Filled Ministries. Do you feel like you've always given yourself grace in the journey of motherhood?
I don't think so. And I think that's why maybe that name just was laid on my heart. I can't even recall the time that it really came to mind. I was working on this journal and it needed a name, and this just sounded right because I don't feel like we give ourselves enough grace, or we give ourselves the right kind of grace. And I feel the grace that God gives us is what we should be showing ourselves and our families and our friends and things like that.
Yeah, I know. When postpartum, that's what this journal is all about. But your ministry is bigger than that. But specifically in postpartum, there's so much hormonal anxiety that comes with it. Am I doing it right? Is the baby okay? Am I enough? Am I going to be enough? And there's so much stress in that journey. And there always has been so much stress in that journey for moms, but I think it has heightened with the invention of the internet and all the different voices and all the different opinions and all the books and all the ways of doing it. I had a friend of mine say, it was already hard enough. I can't imagine what it's like doing it now when you have so many blogs and opinions and things you can Google. And, Google can be a blessing when you need to figure something out, or YouTube can be a blessing. Like I remember learning different ways to help my daughter relieve gas and stuff. It was like, oh, thank goodness I found that video about bicycling their knees or whatever. But there's just a really dark side with that, of all the ways I'm not measuring up and not giving myself grace. At the end of the day, God's got you. He's going before you. And so this product really resonated with me. And I think it's just so beautiful. So tell us a little bit how the idea kind of, sprung in your heart. Like, kind of take us back to when that happened for you.
Oh my goodness. So I feel this was a years long journey. I remember after my twins were born, just a few months in, I actually met a woman who coaches other women through postpartum, more mental disturbances, mood disturbances type things. And she was really transparent and talked about really the things that nobody talks about. And it struck me so hard, and I so appreciated it, because I just kept thinking to myself, nobody talks about this. So just kind of the idea of postpartum in general. And I feel if you know the avenues to look at, there's a plethora of resources, but at the same time, it's hard to know what you need to know or what you don't know as far as yourself as a mom. I feel there's a lot out there as far as caring for your baby and resources that way, which is totally needed and fantastic. But I also remember going to different appointments and, having the question asked, how are you doing? And just thinking, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And so anyway, this kind of grew out of years past my postpartum stage where it was all a fog.
Yeah.
Probably some very unhealthy coping mechanisms, especially after my twins, because I had two quite little ones and then the twins right after, and we had just moved. There was a lot going on. And so once I kind of came out of that fog, I just thought, what if I had had something to keep track of these things? Then I could have more concrete things to talk about with friends. People are always checking in and like, how are things going? And it's usually about the baby, or, oh, I'm so tired, or it's fine. I'm a it's fine person, that everything is fine. Mm-hmm. And not to say that things were, I don't know if I had a postpartum depression. I just don't know. And there was a lot that I didn't know that I didn't know. I keep saying don't know, but also what I wanted to accomplish with this journal was that it could be accessible to everyone, not just someone who might tend toward a postpartum anxiety or depression, or there's postpartum rage. There's all of these ranges of emotions, but for someone to be able to just track in general that first 12 months, and there's sections in it where you can track your gratitude and where you've seen God show up. And so that if I had something like that, I can recall, coming through and coming out and being like, God's graciousness through all of that. But to have that written down, I think would have been such a gift. So that's really where it kind of came out of.
Yeah, it's a gift that you want to give someone walking the road behind you. Mm-hmm. I think that's really beautiful. And I remember filling out those forms at the doctor, and if you haven't taken the time to process it, you're not going to be able to share it. And then you're not going to be able to get help if you need help, right? Mm-hmm. Processing what you're going through is so critical. And as moms, we go through so many different things through motherhood, but then through life, like I'm postpartum and then I have a sick parent, or I'm postpartum and this happened. And what happens? Well, all that grief or trauma or whatever just gets stuffed down because you're still in like, oh, well, got to go wipe a butt, and like, oh, well, got to go help my toddler with, he's got scissors in his hands. And we never process the grief. I just went on a spiritual pilgrimage earlier this year, and I had a session with my spiritual director, and we kind of just uncovered I was carrying around this onion of grief that had so many layers. Mm-hmm. And why hadn't I processed them? Why hadn't I grieved any of it? Well, because as a mom, you just kind of shove it under the rug and move on because things like life goes on. Mm-hmm. And so whether that's something beautiful or something that we need to grieve or whatever it is, processing something in a journal is so powerful and it's so healing, and it can give you space to give it words and to heal. And like that's how we walk in who we're supposed to walk into being, and to be the best mom and to be the best wife and to just have a better life, right? So this is really, really beautiful. Tell us how you were able to bring this product to life. What was that journey like?
Well, it was clunky at first, if I'm being totally honest. It started out as one product, and I had, different ideas on pages, and it was a lot more expanded. I wanted a lot of space for people to write things out. And then I started looking at it, and my husband actually, thank goodness, came over and he was like, that's a lot. And then I think my phone or something heard me talking about journaling. And then all of a sudden, Polly Payne came up on all of my things. And I watched a short video and jumped into print school. And so that's when it gave me the encouragement of like, oh, this could happen, like this could be something that really, and so just taking the step by step and then getting my master pages all put together, it turned out to be, it was something outrageous. It was like 700 and some, I don't know, it was something huge. And Eric was like, that's my husband, Eric. He was like, that's like the Bible. So you can't, that's not going to work, so it was very clunky, like I said, but once I got the kind of the format down, then it just all kind of fell into place. It was a smooth, and then it was just more of the mental, okay, like start telling people that I know about this, and what will people think, and what will the support and encouragement. I think you spoke about this either on a podcast or sometime, but like the people who are in your corner are in your corner, and those are the voices that you need to listen to. And so I designed things myself. I went to professionals when I needed it. But it was you made it really easy. So I'm thankful.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you did such a great job with your website too, and with launching. So tell us a little bit about what the user journey is like when they open up this product and begin to use it. What are kind of the pause moments and the places that you've built to help them on their journey? What does it look like to use it?
So I wanted this, keeping in mind that the woman that's going to have this is someone who has a newborn baby, whether it's their first or their second or their fifth or whatever. It is busy. Your time is limited. Your capacity is limited, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of it. And so I wanted this to be something that was doable and was not overwhelming. And so it's chunked into months. So each month begins with a scripture verse. And so the hope and encouragement would be to read and meditate on that every day. And maybe over the month, it will ingrain itself. I especially remember this with my twins. I wanted to do a Bible study with my friends, and I committed to it, and I didn't read half the time. And then I felt like, well, if I don't do it all, then nothing counts, and so I wanted something that is accessible and doable. And then each week is broken into 3 different categories where you focus on your self-care, things like, how did you sleep, whether it's sleep quality or number of hours, if you're exercising, napping, different, and it's check boxes. I just wanted it to be, okay, check it off.
Yeah.
Now I have this. If you have daily goals, my goal today is to shower. My goal today is to drink 8 glasses of water, just something that's simple. Then the following 2 pages, the next page is more about your emotional and mental check-in. And that's where you can maybe see some trends after a while and compare it with your self-care. Okay, I notice when I go on a walk, my anxiety tends to decrease. My, see if there's any kind of correlation. There might be, there might not be, but, and then the last page is, there's scripted prayer prompts in there to be helpful, and use them. Great. If you don't want to, that's fine too. But some days you just need the words to say. And then there's space for tracking your gratitude and requests because
we got them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Praying my hemorrhoids decreased.
Yes. I pray that my mastitis would go away quickly. Yes.
Yeah. Praying for some relief. I love the idea of this book really being something like a hand reaching through the fog to that person, because it is such a literal fog. I had someone tell me that, like, the first 2 months you are in newborn fog. And I think it's so empowering to know you're about to be in a newborn fog.
Yeah.
And so when it hits you, you're not like, oh my gosh, what is this? It's like, oh, I'm in the newborn fog. And so this just feels so easy and doable. Like, did I do any sort of self-care today? Yeah, I took a bath. Okay, we're doing something for me. What is a little goal I have? How am I sleeping? How do I feel today? What are my symptoms? What am I grateful for? But it's on a weekly basis. It's not like you're having to go in here every day and do all this work. It's simple. The same way you're tracking your nursing, you're tracking those bowel movements on that baby, like you're doing that sort of tracking. And this is we put so much emphasis on the baby when we still really need to be nourishing you.
Yeah.
And this is beautiful. Honestly, this personal check-in in this book could be very useful to someone not in postpartum. Even if you're 4 years postpartum, this type of exercise and check-in and reflection on where you are with yourself is helpful for anyone, but especially someone in the postpartum phase. So what are your bigger dreams for your Grace-Filled Ministries moving forward? I mean, obviously this is in the world and it's, for everyone to purchase for either themselves, their pregnant friend, it's a baby shower gift. What are some of your big dreams moving forward in your business?
I think my big goal is to be helpful to women in all stages of life. Right now I'm focusing on postpartum, and that's part of the reason that I created it as Grace-Filled Ministries, because I want there is something at every stage of life, and every stage of life needs grace, right? We need Jesus all of the time. And so that's the goal, is that this expands into a ministry for women in all stages and all walks. I have friends who've worked or who've struggled with infertility, and that's a whole other group to tap into. And then neighbors who are empty nesters, like that's a whole other season. We've been talking, my neighbor and I talked, and she said it's like postpartum, but different. It's all of these, there's constant transition and constant, I feel as women, we get new roles often, and they just kind of come at us. And so we're not always prepared for that. And so, my goal is just to help women feel seen and known and loved, and just to remember that Jesus knows and he loves us, and it doesn't matter what has brought you to this point, that his grace is sufficient.
That's so good. And we have to extend that grace to ourselves. We can't keep living in the constant self-berating spirit, because it doesn't grow you to do that. So I love that. I love your message. I love everything about it. Tell us where we can grab our copy for our pregnant friend or for our pregnant selves, if you are pregnant, or if maybe you're 6 months postpartum and you're like, I'm kind of still in the fog. I would love this. Where can we grab a copy?
So my website is gracefilledministries.com. You can find it there. I'm on Instagram, Grace-Filled_ministries. That will just take you to my Instagram, which can direct you back to my webpage. But my website's the best place at this point.
That's amazing. So obviously you're a Print School alumni now, which I'm so excited, adding you to the list and adding you to the shelf of honor over there behind me, along with the storage cabinet in my closet. I have it's getting quite a large stack of students. What would you say to somebody who has a dream to create a product that God has placed on their heart for a specific audience, who's thinking, is print school right for me? What would you say to that person about your experience?
Yes. Like no regrets. I mean, I think just jump in. It kind of takes me back to when I was in college, where you get your syllabus, and I remember looking at it and being like, there's no way all of it, but then you get into it and it's broken down into steps, and you make it, we have, our weekly calls and or monthly calls, very frequent. You are constantly available by email. I just would say, just do it, and God will guide you and shift it and change it how he wants it. What I have now is not at all what I began with. And I'm so thankful, because I think if I went with that original idea, it would have been too overwhelming and too cumbersome for a new mom. So I think this is exactly where God wanted it. So I would just say, yes, pull the trigger. You will not regret it.
Yay. Well, thank you so much, Katie. It has been a blessing to chat with you and to hear more of your heart and the values and really the purpose behind it. Because it's not just about making a book, although you have made a very beautiful book. It's about the person you're making it for and the impact for her. So I'm so excited to see the reviews pour in. I'm excited to gift this to a pregnant friend of mine, and more pregnant friends of mine. So just really proud of you. And again, make sure you go to her website. We have everything linked below. Make sure you go follow Katie, DM her if you need her over on Instagram. And we're so grateful for you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Polly. Appreciate it.